Hey guys, hope you're well. So in this video, me and Tolu sit down to discuss the keys to correctly developing your athletics. Now, this video is not just for athletes. It's very beneficial for athletes, but it's not just for athletes. It's for anyone who is regularly involved in physical activities, whether you're a gym goer or a weekend warrior, or you're someone that often takes your child to the park and has noticed some aches or pains afterwards. Please do like, comment, and share with your friends. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys.
Welcome to the Work Rate Movement YouTube channel. My name is Daniel Ajuka. I'm here with Tolu from Elite Smart Athletes. Welcome, Tolu. Me and Tolu, we have a lot in common, so it shouldn't be a shock to you that me and him are here again, chopping it up. So again, welcome. Today we'll be discussing correctly developing your athletics. So if we delve into the first question, Tolu, when and how did you start off developing your athletics for your sport, and how has it progressed since then?
Yeah, so for me, when I was a little kid, I was quite naturally athletic. I was a slim, athletic kid. But there was one summer when I was about 9 that I went to Nigeria, stayed with my grandma, and can't lie, she cooked some good food. I ate a lot of food, but then I came back from Nigeria a lot bigger than when I left. And after a football match one time, after that, one of my teammates from school, he kind of basically flicked a chubby part of my body and was like, yo, like, what's going on there? And that was the first time I ever felt self-conscious about like my body or anything. So from that point, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a bit mad. Like, I'm not looking how everyone else is. My body composition isn't the same. And I think it was year 6 sports day, my final sports day in year 6. Every 100-meter race, I've never lost a 100-meter race ever throughout my whole time in primary school. And so I'm going into this 100-meter thinking, yeah, calm, like standard stuff. I'm gonna go boss it like I do. I start the race and we're running, and then get to about, let's say 50 meters, and my right knee just pops, like, and I was just thinking, what? Like, what's going on? And I was in the lead as well. So even in my chubby state, I was still in the lead. Then I ended up finishing 3rd out of like 6 people. And that was the first time in my life I was thinking, what is going on? And I couldn't finish any of the other events, couldn't do the relay because my knee was just done. So yeah, that was a first insight into, I guess, injuries and body composition for me. So then when I started training, it was about 2 years after that, when I was about 13. I had a PE teacher who told me that basically from this age onwards, like the people that are gonna succeed in sports, they're putting in 10 times work than, and he wasn't just talking to me, but he said they're putting in 10 times work than all of you are right now. And this was just before the summer break. So summer of year 8, I'm 13 years old. I started doing push-ups, sit-ups, started going for runs. And it's not showing up on my like physique. I don't think it is. But that's where I guess my first foray into training physically started. And then when I was 16, when I started to get some sharp knee pain from playing basketball, and from specifically trying to dunk, my school had a physio that came in, and they were mainly for the rugby team because my school was quite good at rugby. But because they always wanted me to play rugby because I was a big black kid and I was the only one in my year, so they were always trying to get me to play. So I kind of took advantage of it. If they had physios, and I'm like, yeah, come through, and maybe I'll come to a training session. So I went to this physio, and he said, yeah, you've got patellar tendonitis. So he gave me these exercises to do that honestly looked stupid. Like, they looked mad. But I started doing them to try and help my knees. And since then, anytime I work out, it's like, okay, it's not just about trying to get big. It's not just about trying to feel a burn, but how is it affecting my performance? How is it going to help me, move better on the court and things like that. So yeah, that's when it changed in that sense. And since then, it's just about continually just searching for new things, learning new techniques, keeping up to date with the research. So yeah, that's how it's evolved over time to where I am currently.
Great, great, great. I think for me, very, very similar. I was also one of those kids where I never lost a race in primary school. I didn't really think much about my athletics. I didn't even think much about training. It was just literally competition games, never training. Even playing football as well, I never went to training. It was just playing games. So it didn't really click for me personally until the age of around 15, 14 years old. But the build up to that age, people always used to call me, "Yo, you're skinny, skin and bones." You know, whenever I'm on the field, I'll be the guy getting bodied all the time. So I always had that, what do you call it, kind of conscious, like I'm skinny and I need to put on weight, but I just really didn't know how to. So I guess like at 13, 14, 15, round about those ages, I started to get into the gym, started to lift heavy weights. At my school, Whitgift, there's a gym over there. So I used to lift weights at lunch and sometimes after school. But again, it was just very much just lifting weights. Occasionally I'll be on the treadmill. Occasionally I'll do calf raises. But yeah, that was kind of like my whole build up athletically. And it was only until 18, 19, 20 years old where I started to realize I've actually got to work out in a specific way. And we'll get into that. So looking back still, what things did you do wrong and what things did you do right? And the things you did wrong, are you still doing them?
Well, that's a good question, actually. So I think things I did wrong from when I did start training was just, if I was going to say overall, I just didn't ask for enough help. Like I just thought, work hard and it's going to work out, like, and that's fine. Yeah, I just tried to work hard. If I saw weights, just trying to lift as much as I can. Especially because it's funny, like you kind of have the reverse thing. Like you were skinny trying to put on weight. I was bigger trying to drop weight. So I was always told, look, you're so big, you need to be so strong. So like if we're lifting weights, I'm like, yo, I'm this big, I need to be doing the most. Or like, especially like I said, with my knee pain when it came to dunking, I was just trying to dunk. Like I didn't care how I was trying to jump. I didn't learn no jump technique. I just jumped until I could do it. But then that came at a cost.
Things that I did wrong when I entered the gym was I was playing two different sports. So when I started playing basketball at 14, 15 years old, I wasn't playing basketball in the gym, which is what kids get wrong. They're playing two different sports when they get into the gym. I was doing bodybuilding. I was doing rugby. I was doing a little bit of American football. I wasn't actually playing basketball. So I'll go into the gym, I'll lie down, I'll lift weights, then I'll lie down again, do the leg press, and whatever I see in the gym people were doing, I'll copy. And I was just like you, I didn't want to ask for help. Maybe that's a male thing. That could be an argument. High testosterone, but you know, that's one thing that I did wrong, and we'll get into that as well. Just common things people get wrong in the gym. And things I did right, I guess I never undertrained. I never undertrained. I never was in that category where the coach was shouting at me, you need to be at training, you need to be in the gym. I was always in the gym, I was always on the court, which of course is a great positive, instilled discipline that's carried me till this stage. So yeah, I don't know if you wanted to comment on that.
Oh, just that, like, I don't know, maybe people who were getting minutes and that, they can live with that. Me, I wasn't good enough to ever be undertrained. Like, if I'm honest, I didn't have a choice. If I'm undertrained, there's no way I'm touching the court. So, like, yeah, I couldn't afford to undertrain. When I'm guarding, I was 6'2" at 18, and I had to guard people that are 6'7". If I'm undertrained, I'm getting killed. There's no option.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, then, what is the key to longevity?
Ooh, okay, so I think the main key is nutrition when it comes to your body specifically. Like if you're not eating well, and that's probably the main thing I got wrong as well. My nutrition wasn't great. Like, so you said you played two sports in terms of on the court and in the gym. I was almost playing two sports in terms of like I wanted to be an athlete, but I wanted to have fun or like do things that other people that my friends were doing. And it's like you can't do that. Like unfortunately, it's just life. Like so, I wanted to be able to. Yeah, I got to school early. I worked out early. You know, lunchtime I'm working out. Break time I'm working out. But then after school, I'm going to a chicken shop with Amanda, and it's like can't do that. Like, you can't afford it.
That toxic London culture. Them chicken shops need to be burnt.
Yeah, and you just can't afford it. Like you literally, it costs. Like there's an actual cost to it. So all that training you're doing, even if like let's say it's not calorie wise or it's not showing up in your body composition, like you're not supplying your body with the right nutrients to recover. And yeah, that was just something that I think if I had gotten right early, it would be a much easier journey. That is still to this day my biggest struggle is trying to maintain consistency with nutrition. Because I think training is easy. Like lifting weights is easy. Running, I don't like running, but running is just keep going. Like, but then getting in the kitchen and being disciplined with no craving and like that's a whole different battle.
I agree with you. Nutrition, my nutrition was equally as bad as a teenager. I mean, I don't know any teenager that was eating their fruits and vegetables on a regular without their mother having to force them. But I was that guy. After school, I'll be at the chicken shop outside, 6 wings and chips on the way home, or have a Miranda, or I'll be buying nourishment, 2-3 cans of nourishment in one sitting. You know, and although the protein and carbohydrates were there, but it was not good. It was not good for me. So nutrition, I'll have to agree with you on. And I was even experiencing knee pains whilst playing basketball at that age. So I wanted to touch on undertraining and overtraining. For me, it's so much easier to overtrain than to train at an optimum level or at an equilibrium between undertraining and overtraining. It's so easy for me to overtrain. All I need to think of is the next person that I'm playing against or the next person that I feel like is on my level or is about to overtake me, then I start overtraining. And overtraining for me is the killer. The reason being is too much stress on your body, too much stress on your muscles, and it's going to cause injury. An example is when I joined Harris Beckenham, the basketball academy over there, whilst I was 16 to 18 years old. Mondays we'll have our running sessions, and with Coach Steve, the suicides you'll be running like 10 to 20 suicides in one day, in one training session. I'm not able to talk of the 17 crosses and all of that. So I used to do that on Monday. Tuesday was kind of like a normal training session, but I'll still be doing my own thing in the morning. Wednesday, another running session. Thursday, you have your games, or Wednesday you have your games. Friday, scrimmage. Saturday, Sunday should have been my rest days. But on Saturday, I was up at 6 a.m. in the morning, doing my runs, the running suicides on a football pitch. Didn't get home till around 12 p.m. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, I was playing basketball. That was serious overtraining for me. And I didn't feel the effects until a year later when I suffered a lot of groin issues. Going into university, I had a lot of knee pains. And I couldn't understand why. And it was because I was overtraining. So I feel like that's a key point. People just need to find the equilibrium between undertraining and overtraining.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think that it's because, I mean, like with sports, especially like a lot of us have these dreams that we want to achieve, and you know we're told like we just need to work hard to achieve these dreams. So, and I think it's, I don't know if it's like, I guess social media on the rise as well. Like for me, when I saw 10,000 hours, I saw the guys running up the sand dunes. I'm like, okay, that's what I need to get. Need to get. Like, I'm not throwing up right now. I need to be, you know. But the more I've learned about, I guess, especially just the science behind the body and just looking at how when I performed at my best versus my worst, like I think there's just a lot more. You need to think about it very holistically. You need to think about things like long term. So, like for example, your training in season and out season should 100% be different. Because you have to consider that you've got a game or training session every couple of days, or your off season. That's when you can now decide you're going to make changes to your body. But in the season, like, why are you trying to change your body? Like, you had 3 months, 4 months to make changes. So if you're not going to make changes, like, you need to just be able to maintain at that point. Yes, I think maybe just people having short-term goals. Also, I like people feeling like they've undertrained when they haven't. So just because your muscles aren't completely sore and you're not completely exhausted doesn't mean you've undertrained. Because maybe sometimes you're training your nervous system as opposed to your muscular, as opposed to trying to get muscular fatigue. And sometimes you're just training around a joint just to get mobile. That is still an improvement you're making. Just because it's not muscle pain or you're not dying, like, doesn't mean that you're undertrained. And I think that's something that, especially as a youngster, like a youngster who wants to work hard, like you genuinely have good intentions to just try and work as hard as you can, but you just need that guidance to tell you like when and when not to do it. That's my opinion on it.
So what are the common things people get wrong when training at the gym?
Okay, yeah. So training at the gym, essentially, like you said, trying to be a bodybuilder instead of an athlete. That's one of the biggest things that, especially people who, if you're not trying to be a bodybuilder, like, yeah, just don't do that. Like, know what your goals are, and then you can tweak what you're doing and make it more specific to what you need to do. Sometimes it means doing, things that look weird, like I was saying for my knee stuff. So it looks weird because the majority of people in the gym, if they're the bigger people, they are the bodybuilders, or if they're not, they're looking to be that bodybuilder. That's just the way commercial gyms work. But it's just about having that tunnel vision. Like, look, I've got something to achieve here, so I need to do it my way. Like, one thing that, so that if I take squats, for example, like, I do quarter squats. I used to do them because I genuinely couldn't squat all the way to the ground anyway. But now that I can, I actually work in like a quarter squat position because that's the position your leg is in when you're jumping. Like, it's pretty much as simple as that. No one has time to go all the way down and then come back up. So why am I training that when that's not what I'm trying to use it for? So it's like I train quarter squats, but then, people that don't understand why I'm doing that will be like, yo, he's got bad squat form. But like, no, I'm just working in a specific angle. So yeah, I think just like it's a mix of like that embarrassment. And then, sorry, could you repeat the question again? I feel like I was going on a tangent.
No, you're fine. So just the common things people get wrong at the gym.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So at the gym, when it comes to building athleticism, just kind of sticking to what you know, not trying out new things. And I think that's applicable to coaches and players alike, because I think that like a lot of coaches use traditional methods. They don't know necessarily about the sports science side, and they're not really concerned about the athletic performance because they have results to get in games. And you know what, I'll put that specific to basketball in the UK because when it comes to, like I said, my school was good at rugby, they were pretty good at football as well. When it came to those sports, and this was just in school, this wasn't like a club setup. Like, they have their pads that they use. They work in their specific joint angles for the sport. They build relative strength for their sport from an early age. I don't know what those machines they use in rugby are, where like they're just kind of running.
Yep, I know those ones you're talking about. The pads, yeah.
American football as well. And like that is essentially simulating the kind of strength that you need in the sport. And that's the type of athleticism. But like the kids don't know that. The kids are just like, yo, we're playing rugby. Like, that's already sport specific, and like they've implemented that into the systems. I think that with basketball, at least for me growing up in the UK, I didn't experience that too much where I played, or like when I saw other people's training sessions. It was really just like, we go around the same systems, and not saying everything needs to be changed, because there are some traditional things that that running around, doing suicides, doing 17s, those are all still very beneficial. But it's not every day that you need to do it, or there's ways you can adapt it to make it just better for the children's athleticism, and that's something I learned a lot I was coaching a lot last season. So yeah, that's something I learned a lot with, because I was coaching like 13, 12-year-olds, so their bodies are starting to change as well. So it's like I have a genuine vested interest in their bodies being good, so that I can achieve the goals of the team. So that's something that I think is a common mistake, not necessarily gym specific, but when it comes to building strength and athleticism.
I think for me, what I've seen, especially at university, I saw this a lot at university, is people not asking for help. And I think you touched on this, asking for help. And I'll also add thinking. A lot of people, they go to the gym, so at university, and they're just seeing guys doing these exercises, or they're with someone that's doing these exercises and they just follow them, but they don't know why they're doing it. And they're not asking the right questions. They're not thinking about what needs they need to fulfill. If I relate it back to basketball, because obviously I'm a basketball player. As a basketball player, so during my university time from 18 to 21 years old, I would say I never really worked on basketball strength or developing my basketball functionality. It was always biceps, triceps, lie down, chest press, shoulder press, leg press. It was never, working on agility or situations in the game where I would need a specific strength, movement of strength. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, and hence why you have a lot of players in this country or at the Bucks level who are playing stiff, because you're lying down, you're doing all these chest press, for example, and you're building muscles in your chest, but your legs are not working.
Yeah.
Please tell me, in which basketball situation is your chest working without your legs? So when you get to the game now, your legs are not used to working with this new strength your chest has developed. So when you're doing all these moves and crossovers, like, you'll be stiff. So it's so important for athletes to ask, and if you're not going to ask, just think about your needs rather than just pressure. Because also when you go to university, there's always that thing of, you need to come back stronger than before you left. That sort of peer pressure. Monday will go to university and be like, nah, first year I'm gonna come out a different beast. And these are sports players, and they're actually damaging their sports performance by doing that. So yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add anything extra.
Yeah, it's funny you said, I literally, that was my exact mantra going into uni. And you can see it if you see pictures of me playing in first year, arms, my arms are straight. You see a picture of me in final year, my muscles are looking good, I can't lie. But my vertical for the first time in my life had decreased. And it's funny, if the picture where I was saying my arms are looking big, I remember the game. I remember exactly how my knees felt at halftime. Warm-ups, I was jamming it. I was throwing it off the glass. So yeah, cool. Then in the game, had a couple. I was getting high. I was doing some nice lifts. Then halftime, knees were stiff. I couldn't move. And then we ended up losing the game. We had a lead at the first half too. Then we ended up losing the game. And it's I know I could have done more to help us win. If maybe I wasn't. Maybe if I was had a little less muscle, and my tendon strength was a bit better. Yeah, and another thing I was gonna add on, just people, I guess, going in and following. I guess just having a plan, and I guess it links back to my look at things as a whole. You come in with a plan and you know what you're trying to achieve, both short and long term. Then you'll just be able to stick to it better, I guess. Just be organized in that sense.
You know what I'd love to see at the gyms? I'd love to see people working on their mobility. I haven't seen that in the gym for since Loughborough, since the highest performance gyms in Loughborough. But you rarely see people working on mobility, working on their hips, ankles, shoulders. But these are all important joints. Like if they're not working, you're not going anywhere. It's as simple as that, and you don't see it. You don't see it at all. And people need to actually start working on mobility. If you want to be doing the same thing you're doing now at 60 years old, it starts from, your mobility training. And again, it links back to what's the key to longevity, mobility training, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that. I'll even share like my last season for me was my first season back after 2 years out. 2 years out because of knee health. So I came back to playing. Then I've never had more injuries in one season. And not because I didn't know how to train over, but one, my first season back, but I guess I didn't prepare as well. And I dislocated my right shoulder. It's my right shoulder here. I did it doing an ab rollout. So I was...
Sorry, you're on a roller and you dislocated your shoulder.
Rollout, and then at the top of the rollout, my shoulder just popped out like that. It was mad. It wriggled back in, but that affected my whole season. Because even though it was okay after about a week or so, but then there'll be times I go up for a rebound and it would just tweak, or even just trying to guard someone, just push in, it would tweak like that. And it was a freak like kind of incident, but it all kind of links back to having that mobility, nutrition, because I know for sure my nutrition wasn't the best around then, because I was in the middle of my masters, I was stressed. But yeah, I had that. I had a trapped nerve in my back twice. Again, all these workouts happened in the gym, which was that was what was intriguing for me. It's not like I was playing. It all happened on the time I'm trying to work to be better on the court. That's when I'm getting injured more. So it's just definitely need to work on all those supplementary things, because they're not supplementary, they're essential.
Essential. Essential, honestly. So the last question, describe a general plan for an athlete, seeing that you work a lot with athletes, looking to improve their overall performance in sport.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this a lot for the past couple months. If I was going to devise a plan for someone who's never played, so that they don't get injured, what would I do? And I think the first thing is trying to incorporate relative strength work into the skill work, or mobility into skill work as well. So one thing I got my under 14s who I was coaching to do a lot was it's a drill I saw on By Any Means Basketball, where you kind of rotate your knees forward as you're rolling a ball across the floor. And essentially it's just helping them to get in the angles that they need to be in, so that they can do all these flashy crossovers that they want to do. At the same time, they're working with their own body weight, but they're also working with a basketball in their hands. So in that sense, you can just kind of essentially work the skill, but also work the athleticism at the same time. And then I think in terms of particular exercises, honestly, it doesn't really, I personally don't believe the exercises themselves matter too much. But as long as you are overloading it in the correct way, so you're start from ground zero, start from where you need to be, and then progressively overload, and do it slowly, again, over a long period of time, because then that way you can, I guess, just build up the strength correctly and in a natural way, whereby it's not just a sudden shock to your body, So that's my, what about you?
Oh, I don't think I'm qualified at that level to be given plans. I mean, the thing is with me, I'm good at giving my own plan. Or I don't really have a plan. I have a kind of layout, and then it turns into a plan once I start working out, if that makes any sense. So I have kind of the skeleton, and then I put all like the main important things in this skeleton once I start working out. So that's how I kind of roll. But if I was to give a general plan for an athlete looking to improve their overall performance, I will definitely have mobility in there. I wouldn't have my athlete do weights every single day. There's this misconception going around that an athlete needs to be lifting weights every single day. I don't believe in that. I believe that there needs to be days where, of course, you need your weights, maybe twice, 3 times a week. The rest of those days, you're working on mobility, you're working on other things related to your sport. I do believe there should be a time and place to isolate those muscle groups. So where you do your bicep curls, your tricep curls, that's definitely important. But as it pertains to the main bulk of your sessions, we're not touching on isolating muscle groups, because that's not in sports. Unless you're a builder or you're in a sport like arm wrestling where it's just mainly one muscle that's working, but we're not doing that. In basketball, don't even I don't want to see you lying down and doing chest press for the majority of your workouts. Like that shouldn't be running. I'm so against lying down and lifting weights, by the way. So, but that's how I would roll. So,
yeah, I think that's a good mix. I'm not necessarily against lying down and lifting weights, but is that what you're doing it for, or why are you lifting weights if you can't lift yourself, or are you doing chest press but your shoulder can only get this far back? Like, what's the point? Like it's almost like you need to pass certain checkpoints before you start doing any of those kind of things. And even if you are going to do it, like you said before, like what are you doing it for? What's the purpose behind it?
Great. So round things up, Tolu. It was great talking with you. Really enjoyed this discussion. So if you like this video, please do share, comment down below, and give us a YouTube like. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, evening, or whatever time you're watching this.